Welcome back. I'm Emily at Emily's podcast, Tribute to All Little Angels, Part 12, Episode 4 of the Timeline. April 24th, 2025. It's Thursday, my free day. I consider it. We have showers today, so it's a perfect day to stay in and write. I did work on the screenplay, but not yet on the episode for the podcast this next week. I also worked on the pictures for my next book. When my day is coming to an end, I thank God and I say good night. April 25th, 2025. Before I begin the day by writing the episode, I first have errands to run. And when I'm done, I drive through the cemetery, not staying long, just feel the need to check on things, especially in Babyland 6th West area. And some have asked, why? And I defend the area by saying, well, first off, how do you trust anyone who starts out by telling a lie of cutting down a tree? A tree that never stood where the groundsman pointed out where he cut a tree down at. We probed, found nothing in 4 different areas where the tree would have sat if the tree was in that area, and even where he pointed at. Nothing found. Then all along, being misled as to what the attorney I hired and the workers at the city was and were to do, and did none of it. No results. And as misguiding time moves on, I had to agree to dig the headstone up to identify if Megan is under that headstone. Even after I had expressed over and over to the attorney I did not want to do that to her, and numbers of others knew this too. After the city knew we were going to court to get the okay to dig the headstone up, they went to work on the drain system in the southwest side of the cemetery, and then moved north to Megan's area, Babyland 6th West. And remember the day they start this work. I'm at the cemetery 2-3 times a day, taking pictures of their work when they'd finish each day. I then sat one day, all day watching when they started the work in Babyland 6th West. I was taking pictures. When the work was done, I would take pictures. Then 4 days before they are to dig the headstone, they are working on the East-West Street corner, east of Megan's area, to widen that corner, even after the drains were finished weeks prior to the day then of the digging. Afterward, it was when we noticed the trench auger lines, and we had the pictures taken to compare, and I did just that. I looked back on pictures taken. There were no trench auger lines on November 21st, 2019, but then on November 22nd, 2019, there are the trench auger lines, just 4 days before the digging of the headstone. The headstone that was being proven by the city the flood water did not move the headstones. 2, the headstone they dug up is a little white casket that was opened and full of water, not mucky dirt water, but clear water you could see through, even with the water being dirty. The casket did not resemble the casket combo vault that we buried Megan in, as pictures show. The digger then, to digging up the headstone, him and his partner pulled it out of the hole and carries the casket over behind the tractor and dumps the water in the casket onto the ground. And of course, Megan's blanket and Bible was the only two items I mentioned to the attorney was in that casket to identify if it's Megan or not. But as we ask now, where are her other items? The funeral home didn't have them on the list of the items either. It was just so disrupting, so discouraging, because everything that is happening did not and does not line up with the pictures taken. Then we notice the newly set in drain and the newly set in headstone set in weeks before the day of the digging, and still out there taking pictures after their work each day. I took pictures of a stake in the ground for a while for the newly set in headstone. And then to find dirt on top of it looks to be a piece of plywood laying on top of what could be a hole dug. And then to set in a headstone dated from 1992. There's a lot of dirt around this area as compared to other headstones set in. I also compared those pictures. And then to a new drain set in 2019, the same time period of the drains being fixed east of the said area in question, and a newly set in headstone set in 2019 west of the said area in question. Yeah, there are so many questions, but being ignored as to what the answers are. In between this time period, I'm being referred to as, they don't know who I am, and I have no loved ones at this cemetery. And my defense is, if I didn't have anyone at this cemetery, I wouldn't waste my time. But we carry on, reaching out, sending letters out, and good advice from the out-of-staters, but being ignored by our own state. And then my niece comes to visit in 2022 and wants to visit the cemetery to see it for herself. And bless her heart, she finds a plot marker, the indents in the grass, and took pictures. We compared the indents, even the circle in the middle that goes into the ground, to double check that that's what the indents are. It was. And at this moment, that was 5 different people's opinion. And another concerning piece of information they are burying people in Babyland 6th West, knowing the headstones that are there do not belong there. God help them if they portray they are burying the loved one next to another. Oh gosh, just to think about this breaks my heart. And then recently, little white rocks laying on the west side of the rock headstone, which is a true fact. The rock headstone always has had little white rocks around it. And surrounding the area of this rock headstone were old style red bricks, not pink bricks. And also, the day I found the headstones were moved, May 9th, 2015, there are red bricks that were carried away by floodwater laying in the grass between the area of where they used to be to the area it is now. So for these little white rocks that sit here in the present, I hope it is family putting them there. And I'd really love to talk with these family members and show them the pictures and the overlay picture, because someone knowing the area knows. And on, being ignored, even with all the proof. Pictures from 1999, 2000, 2001, 2004, 2008, up to then 2015, 2016, on up to this day. Lots and lots of pictures. But as we all know, pictures tells the story, no lies. So yeah, I have red flags and I have the truth. Finally, when I get home, I have to relax, and then I start to write an episode. I work on it until I couldn't write anymore, and then I set it aside and went to bed. April 26, 2025. Before doing much this morning, I finished the last 6 pages of the episode. Then I enjoy the quiet time before going to the country. When I'm finished there, I get home, I reread and time the episode, and it is not long enough. So this evening, I am writing a couple more pages, and when I finish, I reread it, I retime it, and now it is ready to record. And now I thank God and say good night. April 27, 2025. Happy Sunday. Although my days are happy, far and in between. After I start my day and I know the episode is ready to record, I take this as a free day too. At 2:46 p.m., I'm at the cemetery with my grandbabies who came to visit. Madison pulls in too. Although we cannot visit except from the street or the sidewalk because of the water laying all over the grounds. I'm cringing again, wondering about Megan's area while visiting with Wyatt from the sidewalk. I snapped 4 photos from the sidewalk of different sites in his area. We stand visiting a little longer, and then we went to our cars to let off balloons for Wyatt. Today is the day we lost Wyatt to the angels in the sky. And we take every opportunity like this to visit on days of holidays and days of these opportunities. We set off 3 balloons, a gold star balloon, and 2 white circle balloons saying love you. We watched them fly into the sky. They flew towards Megan's area, and we watch, and I also take pictures. I also took pictures of water on the ground in the different areas. Then we pull around to the west side to visit Megan, and of course, Babyland 6th West is flooded. I take 6 pictures of the area from the different angles. And in the 6th picture, it shows Megan's flowers are still standing through all the water. In the 7th picture, I take of the electrical wires because we thought one of the balloons had gotten caught in the wires. It didn't. In the 8th picture, it's of the full view from the car of Babyland 6th West. And what a mess. In picture 9 is of the same. In picture 10 and 11, it's of the lineup from the newly set-in drain east of Megan's area to the newly set-in headstone west of Megan's area. Picture 12 is of the area from the electrical pole to the north where the north tree sat at one time. And picture 13 is of the same but a wider view. And in picture 14, it is of the same, but you can compare this picture to the picture taken the day of Megan's funeral. And yet again, it proves there was no tree that sat between this existing tree and the electrical pole. There is no south tree they cut out to portray this existing tree is the north tree. There's no way. The existing tree is the south tree with the blue and white Babyland 6th West sign east of this tree as it has always stood since 2000. And the north tree was cut out after a storm cracked it in half, and it was removed. In 2010, 2011, Google Earth. Check it out. We have, Madison has, my sister Susie has, my niece Jen has. We see it. Why don't they? And next, the big drain, the rusty old drain that has sat in since Megan has been laid to rest, and conveniently in pictures will show where the north tree sat. The tree sat west of the old rusty drain. And as we visit Megan, I tell both of my angels I love them, and then we leave the cemetery. When we're done, I take my grandbabies to their aunt's house, and then I went home too. April 28, 2025. Oh my gosh. After I start and get things done, I'm going to record. I start to finish, and I do not know how I missed this, but the episode is still about 4 to 5 minutes. Not long enough. So I sit to write, thinking to myself, how did I miss this? When I finish writing, I start the recording over, and I just can't get my mind to read it the way it needs to be read. I set it aside. I sit in the chair and I cry. I repeat it in my mind. Think positive. Think positive. Think positive. I sit there a little while to then start recording again. After the 4th time, this time of trying, I got it, and I thank God. April 29, 2025. This morning, after knowing and having the episode recorded, today I decided to stay in and clean and hopefully write more of the screenplay. I did both. When I finished just before dinner, I feel accomplished, like getting the cleaning done, and the more and more I write in the screenplay, I know I'm going to get it done. When I finish for the day, I thank God. April 30th, 2025. The episode airs tonight, and of course, I pray. I hope this is the episode. As my morning moves on, I went to the country to help out our friend, and afterward, I went to the cemetery. At 6:37 p.m., I pull up to Wyatt's area. I take a picture from the street. I had to. The area again is wet, soppy wet. I visit with Wyatt for a little while, and then I went to visit Megan. Wow, yet again, it's flooded. In the second picture, the area at Babyland 6th West is underwater. In fact, two of the headstones I can see up close are right at the top of the water level, under water. My gosh, I thought it was supposed to have been fixed. In the third picture is of the same, and the fourth picture is of the south of the electrical pole to just north of the tree. Water laying all over. There is also a white aura in this picture. In the fifth picture, it is of Megan's area west of the tree. Megan's flowers are still here through, yet again, the water. My gosh, there's got to be something someone can do. In the sixth and seventh pictures, I pull north to take the photo from the car behind me, and it's of the tree, the electrical pole, and headstones affected by the water, the flood water again. In the eighth picture, flooded to the south, the Babyland 6th West area is underwater. It's a full view area picture. The ninth picture is of the same, and in the 10th picture, it's taken east of the newly set in drain to the black and white Babyland sign, to the double headstones, to the blue and white Babyland 6th West sign, to the tree, to Megan's flowers, water laying all over, and on to the west to the newly set in headstone. A picture of the full view of Babyland 6th West area to the north where the north tree used to be. In the next picture, it's a wider view picture of the picture 10. The 12th picture, is of the southeast headstone. The rock headstone is not visible, but there is a red flowers that's sticking out of the ground in its location. There are headstones to the west and onto the Mother Mary statue. There are also headstones to the south and to the north of this lineup. And of course, the area is watered out. And then to the north, in the next 7 pictures, the area north of the tree, headstones sit in the pond of water, and in one of the pictures, there is a white aura. And I have to wonder sometimes, what is it trying to say? I just sit at this time. I sit and stare out at this area, feeling sick to my stomach and praying one day this gets fixed. Thank you for listening. Stay kind with your words.